Tomb Raider. If you were to ask any PS1 owner that was alive in the late 90s what were the most memorable games of your childhood, you can be sure that Tomb Raider would be mentioned along with Resident Evil, Final Fantasy, Metal Gear, and of course, Austin Power Paintball. It's one hell of a lengthy franchise with no less than 16 games spanning from 1996 to 2018. Though, let's be honest, not every entry was a masterpiece. I love revisiting older games, but I'm not enough of a masochist to willingly subject myself to the clunkiness of the old Tomb Raiders. Even I have better things to do. Like, I don't know, sorting my socks. Instead, we'll take a look at the latest trilogy, more specifically the 2013 reboot developed by Crystal Dynamics. As for the reason why I chose this one instead of Rise or Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I don't know, I just wanted to replay it. So this reboot is also an action-adventure game, but unlike its predecessors, which were much slower and more puzzle-oriented, it has greater emphasis on action, throwing a lot more gunfights and explosions at the player. Way more explosions. Of course, along with the shooting, we still have the usual climbing and exploration segments. I know when I say it like that, it sounds as original as being a dick on social media. And if you don't feel targeted by what I just said, nice. But if you do, f*** you. As always, we play as Lara Croft, a young archaeologist embarking on an expedition to find Yamatai, a lost island in the Dragon's Triangle off the coast of Japan. Due to her and the crew of the ship not checking the weather that day, they get caught in a massive storm that literally splits their ship in half and strand on the island they were looking for. But bad luck, they're not alone. It appears there's a whole bunch of weirdos on the island calling themselves Solaris, a cult led by a man named Matthias, a freak who is weirdly into teenagers but not so fond of outsiders apparently.
Any other non-believers?
Yeah, I think he's a bad guy. So it'll be up to Lara to hopefully find a way to escape this place while dealing with those crazy people, as well as a bunch of undead samurais, but that's not important for now. Yeah, the story is not incredible, it's really just a guiding thread, and I can accept that, but could the side characters have had a bit more depth? I know it's not an RPG, but come on, they're generic at best and forgettable at worst. It's like...
Okay, what's your personality?
I get kidnapped.
I fish. I'm selfish. Father figure.
Single mom with guns. Okay, these are not personality traits, so...
I have a crush on Lara.
What?
Also, I tried to enter the nude code in the first Tomb Raider game on PS1.
What the fuck?
Yeah, clearly we're far from having a Xenosaga level of character development. But I'm being unfair. There is a way to find information about the crew. So you want to learn more about the side characters? Then look around and go read the book!
Baby, I don't even know how to begin this, so I'm just gonna come right out with it. Alicia is yours.
Wait, so Reyes never told Roth that he's the father of her daughter? Kinda sounds like a dick move, not gonna lie. I'm joking, but while they could have done more with the characters, they're still nice to have around. It's mostly thanks to the voice actors. I don't really know or care if they're big names, but I know I like what I heard. Take Grimm for example. I still can understand the word he says, but I don't care. He's just awesome.
You girls should me go wandering off.
He kinda reminds me of Cookie from Atlantis.
Get you out of trouble 9 times out of 10, that does.
I got you 4 basic food groups: beans, bacon, whiskey, and lard.
We also got Roth, the Dilf. It broke my heart to see him die protecting Lara. Such a good man. His last words still resonate within my soul.
Whatever happens, I want you to know that I loved you like the daughter I never had. I'm proud of you.
Yes, Roth, like the daughter you never had. I mentioned the VA of the different side characters bringing a plus to the immersion, but the enemies are also a major part of it. Nearly all of them have voice lines that you can hear in and out of gunfights, and boy do I love it when they acknowledge my superiority.
She's just one girl! That one girl is kicking our ass! Yes! I am!
They don't just serve as meatbags for us to shoot, it really feels like they have their own little society going on, with each of them having actual tasks to perform on the island. I know it's gonna disappoint those of you who like to shoot first and think later, but if you wait a bit and sneak around, you'll see them casually working and talking to each other. And that's great. The only problem is that I fear they might be mentally challenged.
Are we safe?
It's not so bad in the gunfights. If you stay in the same spot for too long, they'll flush you out with a Molotov or a grenade, and they can be menacing when they gang up on you, despite the dumb fuck who rush toward you even when you're aiming a shotgun in their direction. Idiots. No, the real shit is when you go for a stealth approach. Even a blind and deaf fetus has more awareness than them, although I don't think it's entirely their fault. This Tomb Raider brought stealth into the franchise, and yeah, I hope you are not expecting something like Splinter Cell, because it is in fact not Splinter Cell. Aside from the fact that most encounters are scripted to end in gunfights, even if you manage to wipe the enemies out without being noticed, it feels like even if the game tries to encourage you to be stealthy, it doesn't give you anything to make it interesting. And with the survival instinct mechanic, any form of challenge is just gone. Basically, Lara can use her instinct to highlight enemies, collectibles, and puzzle elements. Enemies will glow red when in another's line of sight and white when isolated. So if you're following me, all you have to do is to wait until an enemy turns white, then take them out. And it's underwhelming. There's not enough ways to go around enemies. Stealth is basically just shooting arrows from behind a barrel until someone goes,
You hear that?
"Don't worry, my dude. Must have been the wind."
I understood that reference.
Having an action-adventure game being more action-oriented is obviously not bad, but if you're going to include stealth, might as well go all the way and stop being such lazy fuck. But I'll be fair, it was the devs' first go at it in the franchise, and the game stands out in other ways. First of all, the fact that the story takes place on a relatively small island does not in any way prevent the game from offering some quite diverse environments. We obviously have more classic stuff like mountains, forests, and the beach.
Oh yeah, Mr. Krabs.
But we also explored Japanese villages, World War II bunkers, tombs,
I hate tombs,
and even some weird-ass underground prison filled with cannibals. I'm not kidding, that's really a thing in the game. Shit is like a 3 minutes long horror movie. I had nightmares because of this as a kid, and guy, you damn bastard, eat my... Wait, no, actually don't. The linear corridor style progression works well with what they did. There's even small but neat details like having some areas changing as the plot progresses. For example, early in the story, we pass through a small village in the mountains where we help out Roth. Well, after witnessing this plane crashing on the island, totally not my fault by the way, if we return to this place, we'll find what's left of it. Not much. All of the places we visit will be punctuated with useless collectibles, like the journals I mentioned earlier, or little historical trinkets. By the way, I always find it funny to see Lara stop mid-fight to comment on a random shit she found.
Oh my god, they're shooting at me. I'm gonna die and... Oh, a box.
some kind of soldier's identity tags.
After collecting something, you'll receive a bit of XP, which can be used to unlock skills at those little bonfires scattered around. It's the bare minimum though. The skills. Nothing interesting. Also, those bonfires can be used to upgrade your weapons with bolts and weapon parts. Sometimes you'll find one on an enemy you just killed, sometimes it'll be in a metal chest, sometimes in a crate, and sometimes in a tomb that has not been touched for hundreds of years. Yeah, no idea how that one works. I wish I could make fun of the weapon upgrade system like I made fun of the stealth, but it's a fine addition. It gives you a good reason to explore. I know I was never disappointed when I did. While looking for upgrades, I even managed to find my most priceless possession.
Look at my horse is amazing.
I have it displayed next to my bed. Considering it's a game from 2013, I'd say the graphics are pretty good, and the environmental effects are particularly well done, even by today's standards. With a special shout out to the fire effects. I mean, check out how the fire spreads throughout this guy's body. Beautiful. Hey, I stranded on an island with no hope of getting rescued, might as well make myself some cheap bacon. And look at that house burning. Yeah, I think we can say it. Fire physics in this game are fire. Regarding the difficulty, it's fine. I already mentioned the AI of the enemies being half human, half dung, but overall, without being hard, it's not too easy. Though there are some sequences that'll make you sweat a bit, and I'm not even thinking about the gunfights. There's a fair amount of epic moments that'll make you go, hell yeah, I have no idea what's going on, but it's awesome, woohoo! But that's also where I feel like the game deviated from its original goal. I personally felt like the pacing was a bit relentless. It's a bit too much explosions, too much killing, especially considering this is supposed to be Lara's first adventure. Up until this point, she's supposed to have never killed anyone. The story attempted to characterize her as vulnerable and uncomfortable with killing, but the whole time we're literally throwing grenades and zipping enemies off ledges. Although I leave it as a side note rather than a real complaint, since you could argue that it's like this because Lara had to adapt quickly in order to survive. Anyway, I'm glad they were able to bring this franchise up to date. Sudden video cut off. Well, hello there. I hope you enjoyed the video. If that's the case, don't hesitate to subscribe. It's always appreciated. And you can always leave your comment down below to say if she sells seashells on the seashore. Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to... Never mind, I'm just gonna go to sleep.